issue.
However, law enforcement agencies statewide are confused about how to enforce it because of the way the new law was written. For the state's Roman Catholics, the confusion is over. They say they won't adhere to the new law's ban on helping those in need, even if they are here illegally. And as OETA's Jason Doyle reports, that has created a possible standoff between church and state.
Oklahoma's new immigration law, set to go into effect on November 1st, is facing a new challenge from the Council of Priests, including Oklahoma City Catholic Archbishop Eusebius Beltran. They've issued a pledge of resistance, finding the law to be immoral. The clergy don't plan to stop offering service to illegal immigrants, which could very well set up a confrontation between church and state. The author of the Pledge of Resistance, which was delivered to the governor's office today, says it was born of a conversation he was having about the immigration law.
We realized that our faith compelled us to take a stand on this 1804, that if we did nothing at all, then we would be silently acquiescing in a law that's designed to make life miserable for a lot of our sisters and brothers that are equally God's children.
Friend feels this law goes against the teachings of the church.
From that tradition, it's pretty clear that Catholics have a preferential option for the poor based on what Jesus taught. What you do to the least of these amongst us, you have done to me.
The United Methodist Church in Oklahoma also is joining the resistance to the new immigration law. This issue could pit God's law against man's law.
If indeed it opposes God's laws, well then it should say something to us. It should lead us to believe or think that there's a better way that we can do things.
This debate reminds the bishop of the civil rights struggles of the 1950s and 60s.
It was the church that began taking the stances that it took, and it is because of the church that enables me to sit here as a man of color, as a bishop of the Oklahoma Annual Conference, to say to you that this is why the church is in existence. It is to bring us back to a place where we need to be.
If churches do decide to start offering sanctuary to illegal immigrants, it could mean police officers will be serving warrants on our places of worship.
I think what they would like is for the government to prosecute them while they're helping people, so that they can highlight what they believe is wrong with this law, and the belief that once people see what they're being prosecuted for, actually helping people in need, that people will change their minds about the law and move to repeal it.
These types of legal issues facing the church have been dealt with previously in court.
The general way that the legal system treats these issues is that when you're religious, as long as the law doesn't target you, you have to follow the law, whether you have a religious motivation or not behind your action.
The Attorney General's office says any possible prosecutions of churches will be left up to the local district attorneys. Meanwhile, district attorneys are struggling with requests from local police agencies on how to enforce the new law that goes into effect next week. From Oklahoma City, Jason Doyle, the Oklahoma News Report.
Religious bigotry and intolerance were some of the words used by several religious and interfaith groups which gathered in Tulsa today. And they're asking for an apology from some state lawmakers, especially one who refused a centennial copy of the Quran, saying Muslims support terrorists. OETA's Kathy Tatum has